A hypocrite, you say? A charlatan, a fake, a poser? A crook, an imposter, a phony, a trickster, a backslider, a cheat, a deceiver, a fake, a fraud, a pretender, a poser. We hate these terms. You dare call my character into question? You dare undermine my presence, my way of being, who I am. How dare you, sir? How very dare you? And yet, this is exactly what needs to be cultivated and fostered if there is truly a spiritual enlightenment en masse happening. Because at some point, we are going to need to realize that we are not this. We need to perform. We need to show ourselves in the world. We need to meet life with vitality, with vigor, with zeal, with zest. We must. Otherwise, this video would be terrible. And everything movies would just be drab, and music would just be ugh, and everything would just melt into nothing. There has to be zest and zeal and vitality. And yet, we must not mistake ourselves for our actions. We must not mistake ourselves for our habits, for our routines. Yes, we greet people at the door in a certain way. Yes, we say farewell. Yes, we introduce friends. Yes, we treat waiting staff in certain ways, and we have built an identity around that. But that's not us. They are skills, they are traits, they are these built structures that seem sound enough that we continue on with them, but they are not us. Know thyself was the ancient Greek maxim, and they did not mean to know the details of your performance. Yes, you want to know what triggers you and what upsets you and what gets those kind of unconscious reactions out of you. Yes, you want that, because that is to know thyself. But truly, knowing thyself is knowing the self that carries on as you transform, as you grow, as you transcend, as you become something bigger and something stronger. No, the self is the part that carries with you. And spirituality or God or something like that is the kind of voice or the energy that kind of draws you up into that direction in certain corners. But I do like that definition. But knowing the self is this. It's not the character, it's not the performance, it's not the habits. It is this continuous through line. It is this continuous narrative. It's this soul spirit. It's this relationship with ourselves. Like whatever it is, and however you contextualize it, however you understand it at the moment, for the space you're in or for the space I'm in currently. I do not claim to have this perfect. That doesn't matter. There is something that carries through time that we identify with. When I say I am, some part of me is referring to this part. I'm not referring to how I greet people at the door or how I sing in the car or any of those sort of things. I'm referring to the part that, because if I lost those things, if I lost the ability to do those things, I would still identify a self, and it wouldn't be two separate. We're getting into a bit of metaphysics here, but all to say, if you have followed on thus far, if you understand what I'm trying to say, in that you are not your performance, in that you are not these characters, you're not these habits, you're not these structures, a structure of movements or a structure of behavior that functions in the space that you're in the environment that you're in the world that you're in the life that you've built for yourself. You are not those structures. You are the viewing eye. There's a load of views of this, but you are something else. And I do believe culturally we're becoming some bit aware of this. We're becoming very self-reflective to the point of paralysis. And that is why we must have zeal, we must have zest, we must have vitality, we must perform. At some point, you're going to have to lean into the hypocrisy and say, yes, this is not who I am at the moment, but this is who I am on camera. Yes, this is not who I am when I'm at home, but this is who I am while I'm at work. Yes, this is not who I am with my parents, but this is who I am with my friends. And it's still me. There's still a self there. And if my parents come in while I'm with my friends, I don't know. I'm sure there's a change there. But it's not a kind of like a split in personality, like some psychotic break or something like that. It is simply a self that was in one gear and then either opens up or totally shifts gear. But there's still a self. There's still a thing back here behind the performance, behind the hypocrisy, behind the poser, behind the charlatan, behind all of this zest and zeal and vitality and all of the rest. There's still the person behind it that exists and that has troubles and that is wondering why we're all here and everything else. But if I am here, and if I wish to be here, and if I wish to have an effect, and if I recognize that emergence is a quality that is really important. Emergence being the thing when two people talk and that conversation comes out in between them that neither one person could have on their own, and they probably couldn't even have with other people. But when people get together, something specific to them emerges from. And then you get into groups and you get collective intelligence, you get team spirit, you get all of these qualities, and you're like, wow, there's power and spirituality and insight and vitality there, yes. And I'm also the individual. I'm also this self. I'm also this thing behind it as well. I recognize that I am not this team, and yet I'm not a hypocrite. I'm just participating, performing the team spirit. I'm getting caught up in that spirit, yes. And that doesn't mean I lose myself, even though it can, if we don't recognize the patterns going on. So with that, hopefully I have given you a space here to think about. There's no solid definition, there's no solid answer here, but I do have a practice for you. It is an old one, it is a favorite one. It is writing out a list of I am a certain height, I am a son, I am a father, I am a worker, I am courageous, and I am wise, I am intelligent, I am, or on the negative side, I am stupid, and I am weak, and I am nervous or anxious, and I am all the negative sides as well. I am a big list of all of them, and really feel it. This is a felt experience. This isn't a list to write out. This is an education. So be seriously ironic. Perform it, really go for it, and you might get caught up in a spirit that might give you a bit of insight. So I am on one side, I have on the other side. I have a house, a car, a phone, a computer, a camera, a light. I have all of these things. I have family, friends, work, hobbies. I have. Because those two lists they're the structured way of being in the world that I'm referring to. And it works in your life, 100%. And you don't need to get rid of them. You don't need to shed them. But you do want to have a healthy detachment from them so that if they need to be shed, that you can shed them. That you can burn off the dead wood. You can realize that doesn't serve you anymore. But that's a healthy detachment that constantly needs to be revisited and brought back. Hence this exercise. I am, I have. Feel it. Those ones, don't put it in if you don't feel it. I am strong. If you don't feel strong, if you don't feel strong in this moment, or if you don't kind of identify, I go to the gym and I am strong, then don't write it in. I'd prefer 5 really felt bits on these lists rather than 20 kind of feeble attempts. So if you can write out more than 5 if possible, but just write out, but really feel it, and then go back through the list and say to yourself, and give time for this, for each line, for your list of I am, each line is I am not. I am not strong. I am not a son. I am not a father. I am not a worker. I am not weak. I am not anxious. All that list, and really feel it. This isn't to shed, as I said before. This is to try to cultivate that healthy detachment so that you don't get caught up in these things. I am a worker. I'm a really hard worker. I'm a grafter. I'm like, no, nothing's too big. I can take it on. I can do it, whatever else. If you get caught up in that, there's movies about that, about burning out in that sort of way. As there is when you get caught up in, I am a dad, I am a son. You have like the devouring mother archetype for the son. You have the tyrannical father if you're identifying as I am a dad, and therefore my existence, my son better be perfect because I'm a dad. And if I'm not that, then what am I? And if we ask that question too late. So, I am, I have, feel it. Ask the questions. Go through. I am not, I am not, I am not. I do not have a house. I do not have a car. I have it at the moment, but it's not me. Just again, that healthy detachment so that when it is time to shed them, if it's time to shed them, you may never shed these things. I am energetic and I want to be energetic until I'm 80. I don't want to stop until I stop. Maybe I try and hold on to that. Maybe that crushes me into the ground. Maybe I have to humble myself. Or maybe it's empowering. I don't know. But I have it at the moment. And hopefully I'm cultivating the detachment so that I can let it go for a moment of humility, and when needed, for a period of however long is needed. And then I'll also have the serious irony, serious performance part that I can pick it back up and I can say, do you know what? I'm 60 and I haven't been energetic in a while, but god damn it, it's a big day today and I'm gonna do it. And if someone laughs and if someone is bewildered, to be able to laugh with them and to be able to enjoy the energy that you're putting out, and to enjoy the response, and to enjoy the whole process, and still not mistake yourself for it, still not get addicted, still not, ooh, now that's me. No, but to seriously play, to be the hypocrite, to be the poser, to be all of these qualities. How dare you undermine myself, my sense of self? How dare you? So don't let anyone else do it. But please, do it for yourself. With that, I hope you've had a great week. I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye, guys.